first thing we got to do is we got to gesso the canvas. The canvases come pre-gessoed, but they're not. If you try to spray paint on them, all the colors are going to turn out dull, and it's just going to be a bad time.
So it's got to be super smooth?
No, it doesn't. But
it just has to be less porous?
It needs more layers. This is gesso, like undiluted.
Do you ever use it undiluted, or do you always dilute?
I do, but I shouldn't. Like, you know, the results are never very good.
Okay.
Like, when you're mixing gesso, add the water first, and then add gesso second. It's really easy to water down your gesso too much.
And is it about a 1-to-1 or?
About 60% gesso, 40% water. Even this is too watered down, but you see how easy it is to water it down?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I put a good amount in, but there should be enough to do it proper. Do it all proper. Make sure once you've done it, anytime you use gesso, you need to stir it. Especially, you don't need to stir the undiluted, but
once it's in the water, it's got to be stirred.
Yeah, they'll have, like, I'm colorblind, so I'm not exactly 100% sure what color it is, but I think it's like a brown. You'll see like a brown water.
Oh,
like,
okay.
You can see the difference in the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it lays out better, and that's like the consistency you want. Like, it just depends on your budget. How, like, I like to dump it on there and then let it run off the sides, like, because gesso can be kind of expensive. So, like, you could either,
so if you're going to be more conservative, put it on
with the brush.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be more liberal with it, then I like to dump it because it creates a solid first layer.
Have you ever tried using something that's like a straight edge and just doing it the whole thing at once?
It wouldn't work very good with because there's usually lumps in the gesso.
Oh, okay.
So just create a lot of drag lines. So, like, something I like to do is go through, because as summer is the best time to paint because of the heat. It makes everything dry real fast. Once I've done it one way, I like to go back and
just nice and easy the other way.
Yeah.
Do you ever pick the little, these, like there's a few lumps in it?
No, because they would just make a mess.
Okay.
And the thing is, once it's sanded, it won't matter.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right. And so, like, I would normally leave it dry. It's winter, so I'm gonna go put it inside someplace with a heater. It's 220 grit sandpaper. Like,
and you never go with anything finer later, or is it just the heavy stuff?
Sometimes I use like 150 if I like on these, but I mostly just stick with 220.
Okay. You're just trying to knock off this big stuff?
Yeah. Like, sometimes I need it smooth for certain, like, things like that I'm doing, but most of the time it doesn't really matter. Actually, so, are you recording?
Yes. Oh, are you going to try to shrink up your canvas?
So shrinking the canvas before you sand is a good idea, because the more tension, the
sander will work better with more tension.
The more tension, the better the sander will work. And it doesn't soak in by itself. Like, you need to massage the water into the canvas. Like, I normally use a foam brush, but I'm out of those right now.
Oh. A little spot in that corner still. They must have scotch guarded it or something.
Yeah. But when you're sanding, it's important to be careful. This is a danger area.
Oh yeah, because if you tip it up, it'll go right through it.
Yeah, I've ruined a lot of canvases. Not a lot, but I've ruined a few. A way to fix it though is if you do that, you can put duct tape underneath it and then just paint over it as normal.
Oh, okay.
And then
Do you have to re-gesso it just to meet the duct tape?
no, what you do is you paint it as normal. Like when you're scraping, like you'll have big globs of the paint and you just fill the freaking.
Oh, okay. We'll go with a matte wild honey.
All right, all you gotta do. Try to at least cover it enough that most of the
You're covering all the gesso.
yeah, like
Is there any rhyme or reason to how far you're going down with that?
oh, pain in the ass to since I'm colorblind, I paint with contrast.
I'm a little concerned I'm gonna be overspraying right at you.
Don't overspray so much that it completely dilutes the color black. I mean, you can if you want. Like, like this.
This is not doing the same thing. Am I not putting it up there? Oh, sure. Seriously, looking. Anything so far. Well, that looks neat. It's cracking.
Yeah.
Nice. Layer 2.
The first layer is the layer that's most predominantly visible.
Oh, okay.
And then the second layer, and then third layer, and then. Now you can start using shimmer. This is the best layer to use shimmer on.
Oh, okay. So let's see if I can find a pastel one to go on here. We got some straight glitter.
Huh?
Got all kinds of glitter coming out of this one. Another 90-degree flip.
And you can keep your painting too.
Oh, thank you. That'll be awesome.
I will use that clear stuff on my painting first, and then send you home with the bottle,
Oh, cool. So then I can just clear it.
and then it'll be done.
Okay. I'm gonna go with some more myself type stuff, and some colors that kind of match another painting in the color. So it goes.
Here.
All right, so just around the side?
Yeah.
Start it one time, but
You actually really only need on like here. Because you're gonna scrape on that side.
oh, okay.
Like, well, you're gonna, and then
You want it all the way up to the edge, or is...
right there's fine. I'll be right back. Here, massage this water into your canvas.
Sure. Walk around it. Well. Right.
The reason why I'm doing this is because when we're scraping, we want it firm so that our knives don't dig in as far. Take the heat gun, turn it on. If it has a temperature variation, heat it up to 1100 degrees to 1200 degrees. A lot of them just have an on and off switch, and they usually have 2 levels of power. Turn it on high. Turn it on high and just trace the edges. What this is doing is it's tightening the canvas. Once you've done the perimeter, go side to side. It doesn't matter if it's dry or not. We're just trying to cause all of the fibers to
Contract.
contract.
How's my distance? Am I close enough to it, or
Yeah, you're fine.
about 1.5 inches?
As long as it doesn't start smoking.
Okay.
These are custom shaped. They come like this, but I grind them down to this.
Oh, so it won't gouge your canvas.
Yeah. So you could do it with the sander, sandpaper, and but a sander, that orbital sander. You don't need an orbital sander like to sand, but it helps.
Work great with a grinding wheel. Just zing, zing, zing.
Yeah. So
All right, I'm gonna watch you before I.
immediately wipe it because it sticks real fast. And then rinse and repeat till it's done.
Looks good.
Don't press too hard.
Okay. Oops. I pressed too hard.
Don't worry about it. Everybody does their first time. Nice.
I was just cruising along, actually, getting in the groove as I'm getting finished here.
Right. I'm gonna call it soulscaping, because your current, however your soul feels in the moment, dictates what colors you choose and how much of that color you use, and so it allows you to see your soul, like the mirror to your soul.
I screwed up and I was trying to let it dry and I was keeping the heat on it without paying any attention.
The last bit's a little bit difficult.
Ooh, I'm fucking it up. Yeah. Okay.
I would just leave it.
Yeah, maybe I'm only making it work. I'm just trying something as much as anything else.
Yeah. That's how all my techniques came about. Alright.
And now with this, I'm going to soften a little bit of this and put it in the bottom where I messed it up. If I mess with it too much, it'll just come off. So.
I would keep milking it. Make sure it
Gets really in there.
Yeah. Now do it. Or actually, wait a minute.
Nice. Good call. Well, I'm not going to overdo it.
Well, try turning the painting a different direction.
That's an interesting idea.
You can choose which side's up. I just go with the lines. Actually, really, this is the first time I've ever used this. It's
Krylon Gloss Clear.
I like to stick with Krylon. It has the best coverage, and the cans are better.
It's a pretty heavy spray. This is gonna make it pretty shiny, huh?
Yeah. Epoxy's even better. Really nice, good stuff. I bought this at Fred Meyer's. I highly recommend it.
How much do you think the can was? Like $6?
It's like $6.59. It's cheaper than the stuff I normally use.
Oh, good.
I only use like